Hello and welcome back to the TheDropOutDragon. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the Carian cosplay. This is not a very serious build, it's just for fun, and I'm going to be doing some dueling out in front of the Academy Gate, mostly to show that the activity that you can get here, PC, PS5, doesn't really matter, at 125 or even 150 if you want to go up to that level. The attribute points, you can see them on screen. 50 vigor, not 60, not hitting the soft cap, but I feel like I have enough health. I mean, everything one-shots in this game regardless, so you gotta watch out for that. 21 endurance, so I could put on some armor and feel good about myself, as well as the base requirements for these weapons. I think the weapons I'm using actually, I think it's just 10-10, but then 70 intelligence for what we're going to be doing and having ourselves a good time. So let's talk a little bit about the build itself as the game lags a bit when I switch back to it from OBS. Okay, so we've got ourselves a Carian Knight Sword, which is a somber weapon, unfortunately, so you won't be putting anything super fancy on it. It's got an interesting move set, not one that I would say is super helpful, but it can be. Scales pretty well with int. That the D is that you see there is just not very accurate, because as you can see, my magic there, at that 215 base plus 111, yeah, that's not the greatest AR in the game, but it feels like it's better than D. I don't know, that maybe I'm stupid, but it hits pretty hard. It hits hard enough to where I don't have to think about it too hard. We also have a Carian Glintstone Staff, which boosts the Carian Sword Sorcery, and that's what we're going to be working into. Mage's Shield, I mean, Carian Knight's Magic Shield with Carian Retaliation, obviously. I will not be proccing it myself. It's something that is going to have to be done against me. And I'm also going to refrain from using it as much as possible. There are only a few spells in the game that I use Carian Retaliation on, and that's mostly in invasions. Because Carian Retaliation is now it's glitched on the latest patch. The glintstones that appear above me never really go away, and even after they've been fired for the other person, so they never really know. I know because I've used it so often. I can kind of see when the timing is for it. But it also does a crap load of damage. The only spell in Duels that I use it for is Stars of Ruin, because it's free damage against me anytime that they cast it. So I have no problem just getting rid of you, because that shit is just super annoying. We have a second Carian Knight Sword just for some dual straight sword stuff, which is kind of fun. The talismans, I didn't have all the ones I really wanted to use. I know this only helps for about 5% damage negation in PvP. It is not what you think it is for PvE. Great for PvE. PvP, 5%, that could mean a lot, or it could mean nothing depending on what hits you. But this wasn't really worth it. It was just 4% more on damage for sorceries. It just feels like a wasted slot. This right here would lower my damage negation like the score seals do, but it does raise the magic attack. So switching back and forth between this, I've had some close calls, and I've thought, man, I really just shouldn't have had that Scorpion Charm arm, even if it does do some serious stuff. I could have lowered my endurance, but, it's Duels, so you want to have a nice, good buffer range for when you're doing this kind of thing. You want to be able to roll. Health is health and Erd Tree favor, whatever. I mean that's some very simple stuff. The Wondrous Physics, we're using the Magic Shrouding Crack tier, which temporarily boosts magic attacks, as well as the Crimson Bubble tier, which is quite common in Duels right now. Restores AP when near death. Now, that is not second chance. Second chance of proc when you get to 0. That is not second chance. Crimson Bubble tier can be outweighed if you're hit with enough damage and you just go out. So if somebody was using, I don't know, the 140 crit dagger and parried you and hit you with it, and it took out 75% of your health, and that was all that was left, and you just die, that's it, you're dead. It only restores HP when you have a little bit more than death. So when it goes down to 20%, boom, you get some health back. I'm not sure if 20% is the number. I'm just saying in that area. But if it goes all the way to 0 in just one hit, you're a dead man. I've had duels where it just didn't proc at all. So both of those last 3 minutes, and they're pretty good. So Carian Slicer and Carian Piercer and Carian Greatsword and a Swift Glintstone Shard for people who are throwing rocks. Carian Slicer does a shit ton of damage. It is very good. I highly recommend on most mage builds. You can be melee with this, and you can do some funny stuff with it. It's got a rolling attack, which increases its speed, cast time. This is the regular. You can keep going. Does a lot of damage. You can even do a jumping attack with it, which is fun. So, I recommend checking that out for the mage builds, because it can absolutely rock people and just surprise them, because a lot of people right now are running huge physical damage negation and not a whole lot of magic because of what it is. The normal formats of these videos that I used to do when weapon showcasing was pretty much just pick up people off the ground and duel them in a long unsegmented thing, and that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to do this and show you guys this kind of normal moveset for a bit, depending on what we get. There are builds that will absolutely trash this one because I'm not using a ton of gimmicky things, or at least I don't think I am. It's not like I'm running double cross Naginata or anything like that, because that's just you know, absolute cancer. I'm not stacking poise to the nth degree to just, you know, not be punished for my own stupidity. I'm not doing these things. As you can see, I have some opinions about this stuff, and there's a lot of stuff in the game that currently bothers me. I use casual greetings. It's really, really quick, and I go ahead and pop off my flask almost as soon as possible, because people will hit you while you're buffing. I tend not to. I kind of watch people because I'm overly polite. I've watched dudes stack like 5 or 6 buffs on me, and I don't know why I did that, because I could have just said no. So I'll go ahead and hit him with a jumping attack there. He's going to go ahead and just kind of R1 into me and hit me with the Moon Veil, because Moon Veil. He's like, I found this in a cave, and I'm very good for it. He's going to go ahead and throw out all the stuff that I want to use. And I'll go ahead and hit him with that. And he's thinking about it. He's like, oh, I know this. I use Carian Retaliation. I'm the man. I'm waiting for that Moon Veil to come out again. That's Carian giving him the business there. He's thinking, oh boy. Now that's... Woo! Have yourself a good one there, Moon Veil. Man, that did a lot of damage. And, you know, I'm rocking a set that's, like, somewhat magic-oriented. It's not like, oh, my God, it's, you know, cloth armor or whatever. But, man, that can get you. That can really hurt. So my idea is I'm going to do some duels with this and talk a little bit of how I feel about, what I'm doing. The R2 on this supposedly blocks, but I almost never get it. I've seen people two-hand it and get it more often than I do, but its guard boost is, like, 33. No, it's 31. It's worse than I thought. So I wouldn't recommend using it and going, oh man, I got to do that. But this is a for fun build. It's not meta. It's just whatever. And I'm putting out the content. I want to do invasions, but right now there's so many disconnections on PC. It's just unbelievable. And honestly, the traffic is a little bit waning because people know that their friends are going to DC from them, so they don't even try. Others know that, you know, there's some shenanigans going down on PC, so they just don't want to do it. But PS5 has a much more active community in this. But, yeah, so this guy's going to do a jumping L1 at some point. There he is. And he's going to get away with it because they're both bleed. I can tell already that this is a spooky, scary match. So, you gotta be a little careful here. A little bit careful. I would like to put some pressure on him just by casting Little Spell, and of course we've got some of that. Cut some Bloodhound Step, you know, typical, very typical of the dueling scene right now. But I'll go ahead and give him the big damage there. Kind of looking at him, we're waiting, because I mean I know he can't really be punished for anything he does unless he's directly in my face. So my real only objective here is to kind of space him out. Surprised that actually didn't hit him in the air, but you know, it happens. Now we've got bleed, and we're kind of just looking at him because, I mean, I know what he wants. We're switching over to Faith because Arcane. And we've got whips because he doesn't want to be punished anymore for his actions. I'll trade with that. I'll trade with that today, tomorrow, anytime you want. Goodbye. Thank you. Excuse me. That's something I'll trade with. That's not something I'm too afraid of. I mean, the whips themselves, especially like dual whips, can be really, really strong, especially if you mix them in with Bloodhound Step. Of course, that is kind of following a trend of everything you might know about the PvP so far. Yeah, this mixed in with Bloodhound Step, pretty fucking good. Oh, and by the way, if you don't summon adversaries immediately, just give it a second, and a new round of them will pop up. Just imagine you're playing Dark Souls 3 again, and you're hanging out at Pontiff. It's about the same thing. If you don't know where this is, It's at the main academy gate in the lakes. We're not far into the game if you want to start dueling with other people and you've got the right weapon matchmaking and soul level. I'm not entirely sure what those are, but I do know where the levels are. I'm not entirely sure what the brackets are for the
Hey!
Are we awake, Mr. Man with your dual ant spur? I've seen that before. Some of the people on the channel might know that too. Oh, when Bloodhound step? Oh man. Let's get into it. My man says bleed today, he says. Bloodhound step. I want to get away with being aggressive, but I don't want to be punished for it step. Yes. Yes indeed. I'm gonna go ahead and get some blood loss there. As you can see, it's very scary. He needs some of the fun juice back. Yes. The next hit will be, he will proc Scarlet Rot on me, and then we're going to be in real big trouble. But I'm not going to... Ooh! Still didn't get punished for it because Bloodhound Step removes pretty much all of your recovery frames. So you can just kind of do whatever you want with Bloodhound Step, and that's the game. I'm going to try to get a parry on him. It's probably not going to work. Yeah. Oh, does it one-shot him? It does. It does one-shot him. Okay, well, thanks to that. And again, there are ways to punish things like that. A parry being one of them, and I'm sure he thought he had this win in the bag, but it just wasn't going to go his way that way. But, you know, you do what you can. You just kind of accept that there's things in this game that are a little bit unbalanced. You just have to deal with it for now. I mean, it's only been out like a month anyway. So, and FromSoft doesn't super work on balancing things immediately. The speedrunning community knows all about that, and so does the PvP one. So, and everybody who's running around with a moon veil is just having the time of their fucking lives. So, there's that. I am happy to one-shot a guy in a parry. That was good. I've seen those before. I know the tactic. I may have invaded with a level 9 using them, so, you know. I'm really glad this build doesn't use a bunch of buffs, because I just want to get to the fight, you know. I have a feeling he's... Woo! Frame drops. Excuse me. Are we going to do the glitch? Or I'm actually not sure if it's a glitch or not. Rock Sling into other incantations is pretty strong. Ooh, rocks themselves are pretty strong too. Oh! The pokes! My feelings, you're hurting my feelings so bad. Didn't land one there. That was a decent enough trade. But now I'm just going to get poked out. My range failed me there. And now I'm just going to get poked out. Heavy thrusting spears, or swords, are very, very good. Well played on his part to keep that pressure down. One of the things that really gets me, and if you guys are using a heavy thrusting spear, then take this into account. Heavy thrusting sword. I don't know why I keep saying spear. It basically is a spear, but the animations are a little bit off. Like somebody will be running at you, and they've buffered in their next running attack, and it looks like they just didn't even move, and they do another running attack like that. And you saw it in that fight. I'm not sure if that's latency or not, but it can be pretty damn irritating when you're just like, oh man, I think this is the same guy. Maybe we can do a little bit better this time. But that man definitely rushed me down, and he did the right thing by not letting me like plan out what was supposed to happen. His aggressiveness probably could be punished with a parry, but parries being what they are with the latency, it's kind of hard to do that, and you're never really sure. But that can be parried, so if I was smarter, I might be able to do that. Actually, this might not be the same dude.
Hey!
Some other build, which I'm guessing is arcane. Arcane scaling in some way. Are you trying to get a double seppuku off? Because if I had known you were gonna go for 2 seppuku, I wouldn't have let you do that one. And we got Rivers of Blood. Very, very fun. Very cool. I know you're so used to trading with everybody you know. I know, man. You can't really quick turn to parry either unless you're playing like super unlocked, so that can be difficult. I would like to punish nothing and then just immediately die to Rivers of Blood. That's never mind. I lied to all of you. Oh, you really want to finish it off, huh, buddy? So that was one weapon art. I was really hoping that would just like latency catch him. Oh man, this is rough. I could go for the Hail Mary and just walk up and parry and see what happens. Whoop! Oh! Woo. He's thinking about it. He's like, oh man, this is rough. He knows all he has to do is just barely touch me. See ya. There you go. Yeah, sorry, I don't feel bad about that one because that was just immediately all of my health, and we don't have a whole ton of health. I mean, we got 1900. That's a bit, but we're at 50 vigor, right? I mean, that would have been, I wouldn't have had all that much to begin with, but thankfully my bubble tier went off, or I would have been just extra gone there. Would have felt pretty bad. So Carian Slicer, like I said, it does plenty of damage. It makes up for the fact that this is just a cosplay because of the damage you can do. I'm using all the Carian weapons, and I'm not using the phalanx because people will just retaliate it, and they don't have the same standards I have in the dueling scene, so they're just going to be like, oh no, die. So I would rather avoid that. So I want to be able to control when I'm putting magic out so I don't get Carian retaliated, because that would be a big bad time. Don't want to deal with that. Very bad. Okay, we got a halberd, which means we're going to get poked. And it's going to feel bad. And I'm going to say, that's my feelings. Haven't been able... Whoa. Alright, instant transition, man. I don't much appreciate that. Oh, right into the comic. So if you're using a magic build, I definitely recommend using it almost like you would see the Beast Sling. You can do the same thing with the Carian Slicer. Oh, he's doing it again. He's just out. Oh, so scary with your instant transmission, man. Nope, you're all in your... We're out of it, huh? I have a feeling if I could just turn the tables on one very good hit here, then we might be able to pull this one out. You know, he's getting his blue in. Of course, he's not laggy for himself. He's just only I get hit. There, yeah, there it goes. Yeah, when you use Carian Slicer, you can follow that up with a lot of other spells very quickly, including what you just saw there, which is the big slam. The cosplay doesn't have that, or else I'd be using something like it, because obviously with a mage build you can do a lot more than just using the Carian swords. But yeah, you're gonna run into things. You're gonna be smacked around with big fucking damage because the player damage in this game is just outrageous. But I'm just trying to have fun with it, do different stuff, because at the moment I think I'll try a little bit harder in invasions, you know, using a little bit more of the scummy stuff than I am in duels, because at the moment the game has like 8 or 9 different brain dead strategies. That guy was not using one, by the way. That dude was perfectly fine. I wasn't used to having to dodge that quickly after seeing Carian Slicer, and I paid for it. That was totally on me. Hey. But, you know, we're running into Seppuku. Seppuku is a pretty brain-dead strat. There's not a whole lot you can do about the fact that dudes one-hit bleed you. Rivers of Blood, pretty brain-dead. Fingerprint Shield, pretty brain-dead. Let's think. You're very aggro, and I'm going to punish you for it at random. Yeah, I know what you want. I've seen it. I know. You desperately want that. I'm fully aware of what you want as a twin blade user. All right. I'm fully aware of what you're looking for there, buddy. But there's a lot of things in the game. The perfumes right now are just absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. So you run into those kind of things and just deal with it, because that's the state of a FromSoft game at release. Bloodhound Step. I really, really do not like Bloodhound Step. I don't mind its distance. I don't even mind its iframes. That's not what bothers me about Bloodhound Step. What bothers me about Bloodhound Step is that it annihilates the recovery frames of what your weapon is. So, for instance, someone putting it on a greatsword can poke, and instead of a slightly longer recovery, he can just vanish in thin air. So a lot of the bigger damaging weapons can just play for free and do whatever they want, do that damage for free. And most of them are unparryable, so you're just going to have a bad day. Well, you got your one. You got your one buff, dude. We don't need... And we got flasks, too. Don't worry. Now, we don't want to trade with that. It's Vikes. Vikes is madness. No. You just what? You just think... Like, yeah, I'll just do it twice. Kind of threw myself into a rhythm there that was easy to dodge, so be aware of when you do that. Okay, he's playing it really passive. Yep. He's like, I got my madness build. I'm the man. I'm very mad. If he unlocked that, he might have hit me. Nope, that's gonna hit me. Anytime you would like to be madness is fine. Oh, I got some of that too. I can dodge that. We're just what? We're backing up. Yeah, I'm not letting you have that one for free, but you can have that for free. That's for you. You know what? We're gonna give him this because he was using madness. Madness is kind of brain dead because it literally gives you free hits on people who roll, which is an overarching problem in this game, that status is awarding people who haven't hit you, which is a little bit infuriating, but that's just, you know, it's like I said, the game's just come out. I think a way to balance that would be lower status accumulation across the board for player-on-player damage. We already know player-on-player damage is different because of things like this. The Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman, which, you know, can lower PvE damage by 20%, but in the case of PvP, it's about 5. So we already know. We already know it's a different calculation. So they could just do that. I don't know, maybe. This is the most status I've ever seen from like a Souls game in my life. I've never seen every status just accumulate like that. Hey! Okay, so we have this guy again, who absolutely trashed us last time. Oh, he's doing it again. The latency man. I forgot that was the problem, or a problem in the last one. Damn, I really wanted that. There we go. Big damage there. Don't just poke forever on the halberds. That's a death, right? No, it's not. This man's got all the magic gimmicks. He's got a lot of them. Oh, I know what he wants. See how slow that was because he kind of screwed that one up. Oh, very scary. You're scaring me, halberd man. It's coming. No, not that time. Honestly, I could have parried there and I didn't, and I'm going to pay for it. Yeah. Well, he just poised right through it. He didn't care. He said, "You're stupid." What do we got? He knows I want the parry. Oh, whoa! Sir! Little laggy there with that. I don't... Ooh. That's the Bloodhound Step buff right there. Like, ooh. That is unfortunate that it happened that way. That's bad. That's really bad. But oh well. You're gonna run into that too. I've seen worse than that. At least it had its moments where it was working a little bit there, and then other moments it didn't. So he's gotten me twice. The lag, a little in there. That was a little bit bad, but he didn't get any major hits on me because of it. I dodged most of that anyway, so I can't really blame myself. It did throw me off quite a bit to see it, but it was gonna happen. And that's Dark Souls, baby. That's Elden Ring is the amazing, awesome connection that we're all used to on peer-to-peer. Thank you, FromSoft, yet again, for using some of your fuck you, more money than God powers to outsource a netcode. Oh, wait. Oh, never done that in your life. Well, yeah, whatever. It's just one of those things that can happen that way. And you just have to deal with it. Let's see.
Hey!
What do we got with this guy?
Hey!
He's got a big weapon there. I'm actually not familiar with what that weapon is. Don't want to touch that, I would imagine. Feels like something I could jump attack, but he's going to poise on rocks. Yep. Got ourselves an extra little hit there. Ooh! I am not familiar with this weapon art. This is totally new to me. But that is... I know what a roll punish is. As sloppy as that was, I'm actually not sure how that happened, but he can get it, and he can just take that, so there's that. So, again, that's what duels at 125 look like at the moment. You know, give about... we didn't run into anything super cancer today. We ran into a little bit of laggy stuff. Ran into some seppuku, some blood step. We ran into a little bit of that, but we didn't run into, like, turtle shield poking, which is very surprising. We didn't run into any of that. Like I said, Carian stuff, it's fun. Unfortunately, it's a somber weapon, so the only real art you're going to get is that. And it looks cool, but you're not going to hit anybody with that in a million years. It's not going to happen. And it's basically the same thing you can get from a spell. So you have to deal with it. But it was fun doing the duels and seeing, you know, the 120 meta. If you guys want to come over here to this area, put your signs down and do things, you can do it, because this area is pretty hot for invasions and all that. So we've been having ourselves a good time doing the 125. If you want to do the 150, this, again, I'm not here to have that conversation. I'm only here to passively, aggressively complain about everything else anyone else is doing while simultaneously thinking that I'm a god. So I'm only here to live that life. I'm not here to debate whether or not the 125 or 150 meta is a good thing or a bad thing, or against, you know, whatever I think PvP should be. I personally think that 125 is enough. Others disagree, but it's one of those things that the community forms consensus on over time, so we can't just immediately decide what that is. And not everything has been discovered in this game, so we have to decide what it is that we think is, you know, reasonable or manageable as a community. But until then, I think the debate on 125 or 150 is kind of irrelevant until everything we know about this game can be known. People are still discovering one-shot or two-shot or stun-lock three-shot combos in the game as time goes by. So it's hard to say, yes, this is what it should be at, because these things affect that. They do. So, but thank you guys for watching and dealing with my ass, and hopefully you were entertained in some way. We got some parries off. I'm happy about that. And I hope to be showcasing more builds or showing just goofy invasion times. I do stream on Twitch. I've been kind of busy lately, so not lately, but, you know, I'm going to be uploading. I've been uploading, putting out little clips and, you know, longer videos, and we'll see what kind of formats we can come up with and, you know, talk about, do that. So this is this build. Have yourselves a good one, and goodbye.